Mr. Renato Igueritano Jr., the District House Coordinator of Bacnotan District. The DLP was used entire the Division of La Union after the seminar happened last August 2019. So we use the DLP because we all know that it is very useful in part of the teacher and for the learners. Because when we are using the LAS or the learning activity sheets, we use it in our learners and they can appreciate it even they are engaging in different part-time job or house chores that they need to do habang sila ay nag-aaral. So pwede nilang hatiin ang kanilang oras sa pag-aaral at sa kanilang mga gawain o panghanap buhay. Because through DLP, we are using the LAS. Sa LAS, makikita natin na kahit hindi na kailangan, kahit hindi na i-explain ni teacher ang mga activity, they can learn by their own. Kailangan lang nilang basahin, kailangan nilang intindihin yung mga nakasulat sa learning activity sheets. So, once na naintindihan na nila ito, they can answer the given question written on the LAS. House is in informal setting. So, bihira din po sa amin yung formal setting na talagang nagkaklase yung buong klase. So, ang house po kasi is pupunta kami sa mga barangay before at doon kami nagkaklase sa mga barangay hall nila. So, meaning to say, walang mga formal classes. Ang setting po namin is laging informal. But, about the interaction, so of course, kakaiba naman po yung interaction ng bata ng oral at ng online. Kasi ang nangyari na nga po sa amin noon is just sending LAS to them. Wala nang interaction. They can only answer the LAS and I think it's too much enough for them to understand the lesson. Kasi kompleto naman po kung titignan niyo yung mga LAS namin. Kompleto naman po doon. Kahit sabi ko nga, kahit hindi na explain the teacher, they can easily understand the given short explanation and they can answer by their own the given questions. Yes, we conducted online classes, but through our messenger only. We don't have yet the page or talagang source from internet. But through the use of LAS, napadali talaga yung activity ng mga bata na kailangan namin i-submit for the regional because naka-prepare na nga kami ng mga LAS, mga ready-made LAS na ginawa na namin before pa. So kaya medyo hindi kami nahirapan that time na nagkaroon ng pandemic. Ito yung naging isang problema namin noon kasi may mga bata na that time hindi makapag-submit kasi nagawa naman ng mga paraan para makahabol sila sa mga lessons. So, what I said a while back, nagsisend kami ng mga LAS sa mga messenger and then in return, they picture the outputs and then send to our personal account. So, ganun po ang nangyari. So, doon naman sa mga hindi nakapag-submit ng mga requirements, so nag-print kami ng mga learning activity sheets para send sa kanila or yung ang nakipag-coordinate na kami sa mga barangay checkpoint ng bawat barangay. So iniiwan namin sa kanila doon and then personal na inihatid sa kanilang mga tahanan. So ganun din yung mga outputs. Iniiwan nila sa mga barangay checkpoint and then pag sinabi namin na i-collect na, so dinadaanan namin dun sa mga barangay checkpoint. As a teacher of ALS, hindi ako masyadong dun sa online class. Kasi sabi nga namin, hindi naman ng bata is capable na bumili ng mga gadgets, bumili ng mga loads, magpakabit ng mga internet. Lalo na nung time ngayon, wala silang pagkatakitaan. Kasi mostly ng mga ALS learners kasi mga nagtatrabaho. May mga kanya-kanya na pinagkakabalahan. So, nung time ng napaka-strict na walang makakalabas, so hindi sila nakakapagtrabaho. Hindi sila kumikita ng pera. So, talagang pahirapan sila makapag-loan. Our plan is to bring more LAS for our students, and we are thankful for our LGU because even wala pang pandemic, talagang they are very supportive. The background ng La Union, LGU is very supportive for printing of our LAS. But this time, of course, mas lalo na siguro 100% ang support ng LGU. About online classes, maybe it is hard for them because alam natin na yung mga bata ng ALS, yung mga learners ng ALS, they are not capable to buy gadgets. They are not capable to buy loans or connection of internet. So talagang I really suggest na it is better to use LAS na DLP and LAS for learners. So it's very relevant, the DLP, lalo na ngayon na nasa pandemic tayo. I'm sure and I can prove that DLP is very useful this time kasi yun nga yung more on learning activities na kailangan ng bata.
Excited din po kasi since yun ay bagong strategy, tapos yun, luckily naman yung principal namin, supportive din naman po doon sa pag-adapt ng program.
Marami pong nagtatanong, ano ba yung bagong DLP-LES? So, kailangan pa din po namin i-explain. And then, pati na po din sa mga students po namin na ano po itong bagong approach na ito.
Doon sa parallel scheme, ang ginawa namin parang multi-grade. Habang nag-i-explain po ako sa grade 3, yung grade 4, gumagawa sila ng learning activity sheet.
Traditionally, parang yun, chismis doon, chismis dito, tapos palibot-libot. So, nang dumating yung DLP-LES, within 40 minutes, matapos o hindi matapos, kukunin na yan. So, pag kakuha na nila ng learning activity sheets, upo na kaagad, sulat na kaagad. Wala ka nang marinig na kung anong ingay kasi wala silang masayang na oras na matapos talaga nila yung kanilang concept na sinusulat.
Tumaas naman po ang kanilang grades. Nakikita po namin na dahil sa dami ng learning activity sheet na kanilang nasasagutan, may improvement po sa kanilang permanship. Kaya na nilang sagutan yung mga learning activity sheet kahit wala pang explanation ng teacher. Na-prepare ko po ang aking lesson ahead of time at wala pong nasasayang na aking oras. Kung ako ay nagfa-facilitate naman sa ibang subject, nag-check po ako ng kanilang mga learning. Yun po, nasagot po ang kakulangan namin sa classroom at kakulangan sa alive teacher.
Mas maganda na ganun kasi less cost, tapos less time. So, yun. At saka kailangan natin maging independent ang mga kabataan natin. No.
Dati kasi pinipilit lang namin yung mga bata na pumasok sa alive. Mula nung nag-umpisa kaming mag-adopt ng DLP, hindi na po namin sila tinatawag. Sila na lang po ang pumupunta sa alive classroom. Huwag po tayong matakot na ma-failure. Mas matakot po tayo na hindi mabigyan ng chance na mag-adapt ng bagong strategy or approach.
I am Desi Magnaye, Junior High School Principal of Davao Christian High School VMAPA Campus and CVIF-DLP practitioner for 15 years. In 2005, we decided to adopt it in our high school department. CVIF-DLP is mainly an independent learning program. If in the traditional class setup, 70 to 80% of the class period is spent on lecture discussions, in CVIF-DLP, lectures or teacher-centered activities only comprise to 20 to 30% of the class period. The remaining 70 to 80% is left for students to independently complete learning activities. We follow the 4 DLP program components. In a traditional class, a math teacher teaching 4 classes will have to be in the classroom 4 times. However, in the DLP setup, a math teacher can teach 2 to 3 classes at the same time with the help of facilitators. A facilitator is also a teacher teaching another subject whose main role is to ensure that the activities prepared by the math teacher are done by the students. With this setup, we automatically promote learner-centered classrooms because teachers cannot be in 2 places at one time. The teacher needs to prepare independent student activities, which are mostly written activities, which allow the students to discover the lesson on their own without any prior lecture. All these activities are submitted at the end of the period so that the teacher can see how much the students already know or if they have any misconceptions about the topic. Thus, their outputs are used as basis on how the teacher will proceed to the discussion to address their difficulties or who among the students need remediation. All these activities are also filed in a comprehensive student portfolio. To ensure that our students get adequate rest, we follow a midweek non-academic day where MAPE subjects are taught on a Wednesday, including other activities such as chapel hour, small group sessions, and clubs and organizations. We also adhere to a no homework policy. All these components work hand in hand in providing our students habit-forming protocols to give them signal that it is already time to learn. When the crisis was ensuing, it was expected that classes would be suspended. We were fortunate that a few days before class suspension, we were able to set up accounts for our students in Google Classroom, a common online learning platform, and inform them the possibility of using this in replacement of regular face-to-face sessions in school. We also had to meet our teachers to make sure they are familiar on how to use it. I remember requesting one of our computer teachers to give a crash course on the Google Classroom interface. Succeeding reminders and updates were done online using Messenger or Zoom because the quarantine did not allow us to meet physically. Because we have been used to the DLP system, our transition to an online platform has been more manageable. I think what is important to emphasize here is the readiness of our students to do independent learning, whether they are inside or outside the classroom. The essential things that were done in face-to-face instructions were still integrated in the online setup. For example, The LAS that the students need to learn for the day were uploaded by the teachers in the online learning platform. These learning activities are to be copied by hand, and once they are done, they submit a photo or PDF file of their work using the online learning platform. With this setup, teachers can determine if students have understood the lesson and think of different interventions that can be made for the online discussion. Discussions were usually lifted from relevant videos from YouTube or pre-recorded discussions of the teacher. Teachers can also provide meaningful feedback to some activities, which allow the students to redo and resubmit their work. Assessments had to be done online too. All these activities were carefully selected so that students can still accomplish them and learning continues. To address the challenge of internet connectivity, we had to choose activities which do not require very high bandwidth. In terms of schedule, Wednesdays were still mostly non-academic tasks, and modifications were made to ensure our students and teachers are not bombarded with a lot of activities at once, allowing them to cope better amid the health crisis. Students who have missing works were contacted. Parents and guardians were encouraged to remind their kids about their daily activities too. For the very few students who have problems with connectivity, we are giving them enough time to accomplish their work, especially that obtaining physical copies is still not possible due to the enhanced community quarantine. Whether online or face-to-face, our exposure to DLP rests on the principle that our students can learn concepts independently. When our students see an LAS, they already know that it is time for learning. Because of the online setup, we can say that the main teacher-student interaction happens in the LAS, which are prepared by the teacher to facilitate learning. A certain lesson can be composed of many LAS to ensure that students can learn on their own. On a survey we conducted to evaluate online classes, most of our students know that they are capable of learning independently and have put a great deal of effort in learning even in an online setup. A lot of them also said that they were challenged to learn more than expected, but this did not stop them because they feel confident about learning a new material. In the absence of regular teacher intervention, peer tutoring becomes very strong and valuable. I know of some students who made use of group chats to discuss lessons and drills on their own. Moving forward, we plan to continue with our online setup given that we still cannot conduct face-to-face classes. Changes have to be made to provide a better structure for our students in terms of the posting of materials online, better teacher-student online consultation, and streamlining of activities to cover all the essentials. Creating an online learning guidelines might also help, as well as equipping our teachers with the necessary skills useful in online learning. For students who have connectivity problems, we plan to provide them hard copies which their parents can get from school and submit in a specified time. Thus, DLP is very much applicable with or without the use of technology. In my many years of exposure to CVIF-DLP, I have always heard how it is a disaster-resilient educational program because it was used in some schools in Cagayan de Oro City during Typhoon Sendong in 2011, in Bohol during the 2013 earthquake, during the Marawi siege in 2017, and many more. This year, we are all affected by the global pandemic and we have no choice but to suspend classes indefinitely. Classes have to be done at home, and with the help of online platforms, we are able to conduct our classes the CVIF-DLP way. Students still write daily learning activities by hand and answer them on their own. What they were supposed to learn in school, they're able to do at home. I believe our transition to online classes have been smoother because our students are used to doing things independently. Their exposure to independent learning make them more disciplined, responsible, and task engaged. I hope more schools can look at CVIF-DLP as an alternative, especially that it might take some time before things go back to normal because of COVID-19. As a formal school, DLP has been relevant to us because it has proven its effectiveness in ensuring learning even in such a time as this. A teacher can teach his or her students all at the same time, and because activities are individualized, he or she can identify students who need extra help and provide the needed assistance. More than the content coverage, what we value more is developing our students to become independent or disciplined learners. When students are capable of learning on their own, they can learn anything they want, and they will not give up easily when hardships come their way.
Good day, everyone. I'm Christy Gomez, currently the school head of Balanti High School, and we are Dynamic Learning Program implementing. For me, the Dynamic Learning Program is a good innovation when it comes to teaching and learning process because it lessens the work of the teacher, but at the same time, it develops the totality of the learner, wherein they become independent learners. Upon learning about this dynamic learning program, napag-isipan po namin kasama yung tatlong teacher ko sa high school na kung i-adapt ba namin itong dynamic learning program ito. Kasi po, as we all know, yung mga parents at saka yung mga teachers and also the learners, sanay po sila sa traditional way of teaching. Pero dahil po sa kakulangan ng guro at saka ng mga aklat, naisipan po namin na bakit hindi namin gamitin. Yung work ng teacher is gumawa lang siya ng learning activity sheets na kung saan pag nakagawa na siya, yun na ang magiging lesson plan niya. At yung mga bata naman, yun na rin po yung sasagutan nila at doon na sila mag-focus. So sa katagalan po ng paggamit namin, nasanay na rin yung mga bata. At pati yung kanilang writing ability ay na-develop. Pati rin po yung pagkakaroon namin ng MAPE Day, dito po nahasa yung ability ng mga bata. May mga bata na nagkaroon ng interest sa music, sa dance, meron din sa sports na kung saan sumasali na po kami sa mga sport events ng division at nananalo naman po sila. At pagdating po sa program sa school, yung mga dating mga bata na nahihiyang mag-perform sa harap ng mga kapwa nila estudyante at mga magulang, nakakapag-perform na po. Since gumamit po kami ng DNP from second quarter na last school year 2018-2019, so nakita naman po namin yung comparison when it comes to academic ng mga bata. May mga bata na sa first grading wala lang. But upon doing the DLP, nakita naman namin na naging achievers sila. So, masasabi ko na malaki din yung naging impact ng DLP sa mga bata dito sa Balanti School. Dahil nga po nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic crisis na ganito, naisipan ko din po na gamitin din ang DLP sa Balanti Elementary School. Dahil nga po modular yung teaching and learning process na gagamitin namin, so maganda po ang DLP sa palagay ko po. And ang naiisip ko pong gawin dito is i-meeting yung mga parents muna bago namin i-implement ito para ipakilala naman namin sa kanila ang dynamic learning program. Since nakikita naman nila yung kinakabasan nito sa high school, siguro naman po may encourage sila na gayahin din ito. At tulungan din nila yung kanilang mga anak na sumagot sa mga learning activity sheets na ipapadala namin sa mga bata. Sa paggamit po namin ngayon, ngayong new normal ng dynamic learning program, malaki po ang maitutulong sa amin ng mga magulang sa pag-guide sa mga bata sa paggawa ng kanilang learning sheets. So since hindi naman po expert yung mga parents natin sa paggawa ng activity sheets or yung pagsagot dun sa mga activities na yun, pwede po nilang i-guide yung kanilang mga anak sa paggamit ng internet. Pwedeng gamitin ng mga magulang upang ma-monitor nila yung kanilang mga anak ay yung tinatawag po nating learning activity monitoring sheet na kung saan nakalista po dyan yung mga learning activity sheets na ginagawa ng kanilang mga anak at matututukan po nila kung alin pa doon sa mga nakalista doon ang hindi pa nagagawa ng kanilang mga anak. Sa barangay naman po, pwede po namin ipakilala din sa kanila ang dynamic learning program kung saan pwede din po silang sumuporta sa amin lalo na sa pagbibigay ng mga kagamitan na kinakailangan namin sa pag-create ng mga learning activity sheets ng mga bata. And also sa Department of Education po, since hindi naman po kami nag-deviate sa curriculum guide na in-implement ng department. So, inaasahan din po namin na pwede namin ilapit ang DLP sa iba't ibang mga paaralan. Katulong po ng aming district supervisor at ng iba pang punong guro sa aming distrito.
Kabataan, pag-asa ng bayan nagmamalasakit sa kalikasan.
Maliban po sa mga magulang na malaki po ang maitutulong sa pagganap po ng dynamic learning program na to, malaki din po ang pasasalamat namin sa Smart Communities dahil ipinakilala niya sa amin ang DLP. And sana po magkaroon pa tayo ng mahabang pagsasama pa.
Pagsisimula, wala kaming estudyante. So kami talaga yung pumupunta sa bahay nila. Nagsi-sales talk talaga kami. Sales talk kung ano ang kalaga ng edukasyon para sa kanila. Every year, mag-map kami, pumupunta kami sa kanilang bahay. Sari-sari kasi kaming mga pakulo. Actually, kinakailangan talagang makasustain kami ng 75 learners in a year. Kasi yun ang DepEd order namin. Bilang isang guro ng mobile teacher, dapat may 75 learner ka. Before, nagtuturo ako sa basurahan mismo, sa chapel. Ang ginagawa ko talaga, to be honest, binibigyan ko sila ng puhunan. Kasi, ang hirap kasing i-compete yung education sa pagkain nila araw-araw. With the help of the DLP, it is what individualized instruction. Student-centeredness pa, nagagawa ng mga estudyante ito na kahit walang supervision, close supervision ng teacher. It takes time to change yung mga estudyante mo. So na-appreciate nila na kahit palagi silang nagsusulat, meron ding changes.
ko yung nagtuturo talaga sa basic education nila. Nag-take sila ng elementary day pass, and after a year, nag-take na naman sila ng high school day pass. Maraming pumasa actually, sir. Sa akin, ang elementary ko 15 ang nag-take, 15 ang pumasa. Sa high school, if I'm not mistaken, siguro mga 33 ang nag-take, 30 ang pumasa. After marami nang pumasa, hindi na kami nagbahay-bahay na ngayon dahil sila na pumupunta sa amin. So yun ang advantage. Pag marami ka ng product, sila na nag-i-enroll ng kanilang sarili.
Gustong-gusto ko talaga magpatuloy ng pag-aral kasi marami po talaga akong pangarap eh. Hindi mo masasabi na huli na ang lahat kasi meron pang paraan para mapagpatuloy ka mag-aral. Message ko lang kang ma'am, kahit mga makulit kami, minsan may ingay, ang akin lang, huwag kang mag-give up, ma'am, sa amin. Kasi hindi kami nandito kung wala ka. Saka ikaw lang talaga yung nakakatulong sa amin para mapatuloy namin yung pangarap namin.
Palagi kong sinasabi sa mga estudyante ko na ang kahirapan ay hindi hadlang sa pagkakaroon ng katuparan ng inyong mga pangarap. Ang mangguro ay handang tumulong sa kanila with all open hearts and all open hands. Meron na ring mga bagong teknolohiya at mayroong mga teknik ang guro ngayon na mas mapapagaan ang kanilang pag-aaral. So why not pursue and complete their education para naman maiba ang kanilang mga estado ng pamumuhay. Ang pag-aaral talaga ang naging isang solusyon. Hindi mo makikita ito sa isang idlap lang, pero pag nakapagtapos ka na, maraming mga oportunidad na maibibigay sa iyo.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. May we invite you to please remind ourselves that we are in the presence of the Lord. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this day that we are gathered as one nation, eager to improve the learnings of our children, teachers, parents, and all stakeholders. We pray for strength as we move towards innovation. Thank you for reminding us the basic principles of education. You are our teacher. You are wisdom. Teach us to always be kind and to always abide by your word. We claim success for this forum. We claim health and safety for us, our families, our country, and the whole world. This we pray in your mighty name. Amen and amen. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm David Rioferio, your host. Good afternoon to all the teachers, school administrators, parents who are tuned in right now via Facebook at the Dynamic Learning Program Smart Communities, Now You Know, DepEd Philippines, and Gabay Guro pages. Welcome to the first day of our web forum on the CVIF Dynamic Learning Program web forum. You know, it's called No Learner Left Behind, Education for All in the New Normal. This is in support of the Department of Education's Learning Continuity Plan for school year 2020-2021, starting August 24. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the partners of CVIF Dynamic Learning Program, the Department of Education, AHA Learning Center, Gabay Guro, PLDT Smart Foundation, Save the Children, SMART, World Vision, Yellow Boat of Hope Foundation, and all the public and private schools and ALS communities that are implementing the DLP program. Maraming salamat po. Now, just some reminders. Number one, the web forum will run for 3 days, starting today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's June 17, 18, and 19 from 2 to 4 p.m. There are different topics every day, so please tune in again tomorrow and on Friday. This web forum is free. There's no need to register. If you have questions, please write it on the comment section of Facebook. And for other better appreciation, there will be a chance that it will be posted on the screen. And please do share the event to others whom you feel can learn from this. We have a lot of topics in a very short time, so we'll jump right in with our first speaker. To formally open the web forum, I'd like to invite the first Vice President and Head of Public Affairs of Smart Communications, Mr. Ramon R. Isberto. So, you know, I think everyone's really excited. We're counting now. We have around 2,000 viewers right now, and I hope you can share this further, no, para sa day 2 and day 3 mas marami pang matuto. We're so excited, you know. CVIF Dynamic Learning Program, it's called many ways and many forms, seen as many forms. Pero ngayon, this is a chance really for us to interact. Later, we will, you know, acknowledge questions. Magtanong lang po kayo, magsumagot lang po kayo dyan sa aming comment sa Facebook ng Dynamic Learning Program para ho mabigyan namin ng sagot mamaya. Again, we'd like to thank our partners, PLDT Smart, Save the Children, World Vision, AHA Learning Center. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Now, we bring you Mr. Mon Isberto.
Hi, David. Good afternoon.
Sir, good afternoon po.
Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. And magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. First of all, I'd like to welcome all of you and thank you for joining us in this web forum. And I think this is going to be a very intense forum because we're facing a situation talaga. I mean, the reason why you're here is because we face a very unprecedented challenge in opening classes this year. You know, COVID and everything. How are we going to do that? And one of the answers to that question is here in this web forum, and that's the Dynamic Learning Program. Now, If you are a school teacher, you are a school principal, you're an administrator, this is a tool that can help you in addressing this unprecedented situation. And that's why we're bringing this web forum, and we're very thankful for your presence today. Now, okay, actually, we have been working with the DLP, or Dynamic Learning Program, for the past 10 years, together, of course, with the founders of the ones who created this whole system, Drs. Chris and Marivic Bernido. And over the past 10 years, we've seen how this learning system, this approach to teaching and learning, can be very useful in a variety of situations. It's a very flexible system. So you can use it in a face-to-face situation. You can use it in an online situation. You can use it in an on-air setting. So it's that kind of flexibility that makes it a particularly useful tool for the current situation, because those are precisely the scenarios that are being considered now by educators: online, offline, on-air, off-air. Okay? But beyond that, beyond it being a flexible system, the reason why we at SMART have been so interested in promoting the DLP is that its core vision is to encourage the development of students as independent learners. So this is not just a coping strategy. This is a strategy with a core message and a core vision. Its vision is to develop students as independent learners. And personally, that's why I'm so supportive of this particular approach, because once you train a student to become an independent learner, walang katapusan na yan. The guy has his own momentum, and students can go very, very far with that kind of vision. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome you again to this, web forum. And of course, I must thank our partners. First of all, the Department of Education for its interest and support of DLP, especially in this COVID situation. And of course, our partners as well: Save the Children, AHA, World Vision, Gabay Guru, the PLDT Smart Foundation, and Yellow Boat. Thank you again for your participation and support. And finally, of course, maraming salamat ulit kay Doc Chris and Marivic for the excellent work that you've done in this field. For those of you na ngayon lang makakarinig, what is this DLP? Please, I'm sure you will enjoy and be very, very interested in what you will learn in this session. And for those of you who have been practicing DLP for some time now, this is an opportunity for you to level up, to see how you can precisely use this approach in dealing with the COVID challenges that we face today. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat, and enjoy the web forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Mon. I really like what you said, that really we are training students to become independent. Just a few days ago, we celebrated the Independence Day of the Philippines, and you see the whole nation and even other countries are celebrating it. And, I look forward 100 years from now, 122 years from now, the whole world would celebrate that the Filipino students are really independent. Well, in terms of, education. Maraming salamat po, Sir Mon.
Okay.
Ang SMART po ay 10 taon nang sumusuporta sa mga Bernidos at sa Dynamic Learning Program. Ito ho, ipapakilala ko sa inyo, another long-time supporter of DLP is the PLDT Smart Foundation. Please watch the video for the message of PLDT Smart Foundation, Ms. Esther Santos, the President.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us in today's web forum on the CVIF-Dynamic Learning Program. We, PLDT Smart Foundation, are very happy to be part of this program for the past more than 10 years, together with Smart Communications, who also organized this web forum. First of all, we would like to thank our main partners for this program, the geniuses behind the methodology, Dr. Chris and Marivic Bernido, who have been very generous in developing and sharing this methodology to so many schools all over the country. They say that innovation comes with mastery, and this is true in the case of the Bernidos, who are masters in science and in education. So thank you very much, Dr. Chris and Marivic, for your contribution to nation building through the DLP. We would also like to thank our partner schools who have been practicing the DLP for the past years in their schools with much success. They will be sharing their knowledge and experience in the next few days, and hopefully this will help you in your decision to apply the DLP in your own school. I have been monitoring the progress of the DLP implementation for the past years, and I'm very happy whenever I interview students who have been trained in the DLP method. And many of them really sincerely say that they are very happy with the DLP. At first, it would be a bit difficult, the transition from the old way of learning and the new way through the DLP. But all of them realize that actually the DLP is very, very helpful and has made them better students. Some have even say that it is magic. They don't realize it, but they are learning more and better every day through the DLP method. That's why it is like magic, because they learn almost effortlessly. They say that the DLP method is disaster proof, and I think this is true because I have also seen that students continue learning even after typhoons, earthquakes, and even now with this COVID-19 pandemic and the quarantine that goes with it. Our students continue learning from their homes almost uninterrupted because the DLP foresees these kinds of interruptions, and so learning never stops in the DLP method. The other part of the title of this web forum, No Learner Left Behind, resonates very much with us in PLDT Smart Foundation, and is also very close to the heart of our chairman, Mr. Manny Pangilinan. We in PLDT Smart Foundation, as one of our objectives is really to reach those with less access. And through the DLP method, we can see that education continues, even the lack of schools, classrooms, lack of teachers, lack of books, and even lack of technology. But that's why we are really promoting this in this new normal, because we would not want to have any learner left behind. And this is one methodology that truly takes into account each student, and so that really learning becomes inclusive. So thank you for your interest in joining this web forum, and hopefully the next days will be very fruitful for you. And we in PLDT Smart Foundation and Smart Communications really try to reach even remote schools through the DLP and the Smart School in a Bag. So please reach out to us, and hopefully we can work together. So thank you, and please join us for the next days. Thank you.
Ma'am Esther, thank you ha. I mean, you said kanina, no, the Bernidos are masters of science, technology, and mathematics. That's the key, I think. I mean, for everyone, anyone, children, adults, parents, you know, they need to be masters of their crafts, their abilities, their skills. Because with mastery comes passion. And when you have passion to do something, nothing can stop you from helping others. Nothing can stop you from being rich, rich in, in spirit. Yun lang. So it's a chicken and egg question, but for students, for teachers, this is mastery over coverage. Be passionate about what you're doing, and with God's grace, you'll be there where you want to go. Okay. I want to invite you to this heart of the web forum. Kanina pa natin naririnig yung CVIF Dynamic Learning Program, DLP. Ano nga ba iyon? So let's watch this video to get an idea of what the program is all about. So yun nga, no, pinag-uusapan natin kanina, ang dami ng tinawag niyan. Ano ba to? Dynamic Learning Education o Dynamic Learning Module? Maya, malalaman natin yon. So with this video, we're so excited. Ayan na po, papanoorin natin in a while. Sinute namin to sa, I think, sa Bohol, dun mismo sa bahay ng Bernido couple, dun sa kanilang school. People will always want to visit the school and see what's dynamic in there. And sometimes people criticize, oh, wala namang dynamic, hindi sila gumagalaw. But you see, the dynamic happens in the brain. Later, I don't want to preempt, but maintindihan natin yun mamaya with neuroscience being explained. Okay, here's the video, CVIF Dynamic Learning Program.
Actually, it's not. Ano pa kung step?
And then since we were already here and my mother, who was 77 years old at that time, was running the school, she has always been, sending the signals if somebody could help her. So we decided, okay, since we're here and we're thinking about the little center, let's try to help the school also. So we decided that let's make it into a Central Design Institute Foundation. So that was the beginning. So we just look at the problem, and for the first 3 years, we were still traditional in our running of the school. But then the improvement in the learning of the students was really very small. So it was quite frustrating. Nobody passed the UPCAT, UP College Admission Test, for 3 years. So it was in 2002 where we implemented this dynamic learning program after a 3-year observation.
The parallel learning classes, this is based on what they call as the jigsaw strategy. In the original jigsaw strategy, students would move from one group to another so that they would learn a topic better. What we did was to invert this. So parallel classes where you can have 2 to 3 classes held at the same time with one expert teacher and facilitators so that no class would be left without an adult or a teacher.
The key in the dynamic learning program really is the parallel classes scheme. Because if you do parallel classes, automatically it becomes learner-centered. Because if you have, for example, a biology class, I have 3 biology classes. I hold these classes simultaneously. Now, the teacher cannot be in 3 places at the same time. So automatically, the teacher intervention in this biology class will be limited to maybe 30% of the time. So the biology teacher would lecture 15-20 minutes here, transfer to another section, lecture 15-20 minutes, and so on. So even if you don't have teachers, 80% of the time you already win, as long as there are activities designed for that particular subject.
Second component would be the activity-based learning with its daily protocol of writing, a lot of writing for the students, starting from the title to the learning targets, well-defined learning targets, and then the concept digest. So this is, they do the activities in school.
So essentially in the DLP, the work of the teacher is now shifted. The teacher does not have to lecture a lot. So by August, in the traditional, a lot of teachers have hoarse voices. But here that does not happen. But now their work is now in the assessment and evaluation of the students' work. So we also try to avoid the workbook style. Because some schools, if you use the workbook style, the feedback is that after some time, the students are nonchalant. They just sort of go through the module or the workbook, just keep on answering, and as long as they pass. So that's the type of behavior that's being fostered by this workbook style. But here in the writing, it's habit forming. Even the smell of the paper activity sheet already sends signals to the brain that it's learning time.
Maranasan mo yung practice na ikaw lang mismo isa yung magsusolve mismo sa problem. So, pag nagawa mo yun, iba yung excitement tsaka joy na makukuha mo pag ikaw yung mismo nakasolve sa isang problem.
It is very tiring, but it is very fulfilling as well because I can absorb the lessons very fast compared to if we use the traditional method of teaching. DLP is far more effective than that because I can easily remember what I wrote during the concept notes, exercises. I can easily remember since I was the one responsible for the writing and the answering of the whole activity.
And all these activities would be filed in the student comprehensive portfolio. So that's the third component. So notebooks now are optional. What the students would have would be this comprehensive portfolio. Why comprehensive? Because it contains everything: the daily activities, the exams, quizzes. If they have small projects, they could place it there. Essays, themes, lab reports. So everything should be within the comprehensive portfolio.
The fourth one is the strategic study and rest.
They do a lot of activities in school. They are very intense with their work. Then they're tired, so no homework.
Pag umuwi yung anak ko, tumutulong na lang sa amin. At saka, pagkatapos ng tumulong, mag-research siya ng computer. Tututo ko siya sa pagsusulat. Kasi kung meron siyang hindi na alam sa school doon, mag-research naman siya sa computer.
There were no students now below average percentile rank. So that was a very good sign. So that's one performance indicator. The other performance indicator would be the UPCAT, number of UPCAT passers for 3 years. We wanted that as a performance indicator because they're really independent. People from UP conduct the exam. They do not delegate, and they're very strict. NCAE, as I said, really moved up. By now...
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, 45% of our seniors belong to the top 10% in the whole country. And if you look at the mathematics component of the NCAE, 51% or more than half of our seniors belong to the top 10% in the whole country in mathematics. And again, if I remember correctly, around 17 students in mathematics belong to the top 1% in the whole country.
Meaning they had 99 plus or 99 percentile rank in mathematics.
DLP for the 21st century is the way to go.
What we were doing really was looking at the problem, a real world problem, using the scientific method, attacking every aspect of the problem, and realize that with this package of solutions, you could address so many problems, which we realize are not really problems. But the solution entails sacrifice.
Years ago, no? Pinag-uusapan namin parati ang dynamic learning program, and halos, memorize mo na yung sinasabi nila Dr. Chris and Dr. Marivic dun sa video. And kakapaulit, sabi nga nila, no, kahit naman hindi pa sa una maintindihan ng mga bata, pero kapag inuulit, sinusulat, binabasa, sinasagutan, mariretain yung mga bagay na yun. And the brain is really a target-oriented brain. If you provide something, kahit kulang-kulang, all the cells will work on the neurons to fill the gap. Later, pag-usapan pa natin yan. From the video, we learned that the 4 components of DLP are, again, everybody say 4. Very good, I hear you. Number 1, parallel classes, which develop independent student learners. Number 2, learning activity sheets, which are learner-centered lesson plans. Number 3, strategic study and rest. For zero homework, you need to rest. Number 4, student portfolio as proof of students' work. So the big question now is, how is this going to work in the new normal? To answer that, palakpakan naman dyan, to answer that, we have the developers of the CVIF-Dynamic Learning Program. Let me introduce them to you. Dr. Christopher Benito is a physicist who is presently the president of the Central Visayan Institute Foundation, CVIF, in Hagna, Bohol, while Dr. Marivic Benito is also a physicist who is presently the CVIF school directress. Both of them obtained the following academic degrees: Doctor of Philosophy in Theoretical Physics and Master of Science in Physics from the State University of New York at Albany, USA, and Bachelor of Science in Physics from the University of the Philippines, UP Diliman. Both of them were also conferred the degrees of Doctor of Humanities honoris causa by the Holy Angel University and Doctor of Pedagogy honoris causa by the Ateneo de Naga University. You know, while teaching in UP Diliman, they both received the Achievement Award in Physics from the National Research Council of the Philippines. Dr. Chris was named Outstanding Young Scientist for Physics by the National Academy of Science and Technology in the Philippines and was the first director of the UP National Institute of Physics. They are both regular associates of the International Center for Theoretical Physics in Trieste, Italy. Both have also been research fellows of the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation in Germany, as well as exchange scientists in Japan under the joint program of the DOST, Department of Science and Technology Philippines, and the Japan Society for the Promotion of Science. They have presented scientific papers and given seminars in different countries. In 2010, they were confirmed the Ramon Magsaysay Award, Asia's premier prize for service for the CVIF Dynamic Learning Program. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Christopher C. Bernido and Dr. Maria Victoria Carpio Bernido.
Thank you very much, David, for the very kind introduction. Good day to everyone, and for those in a different time zone, good evening. I will show you some slides related to the dynamic learning program in the new normal, and maybe we could flash the slides if it is possible. So the first page after the title page, we can, yeah. So in the new normal, the DLP has been shown to be resilient to lockdowns or resilient to pandemics. And there are many examples of this, from typhoons to earthquakes and now the pandemic. And after that, the reason for that is because in the DLP, there is minimal teacher intervention. That means from the very beginning, since 2002, when it was first created, that teacher intervention or face-to-face contact between teacher and students range from 0, that means nothing, to 20 to 30%. That's from the very beginning. So it really fits the present situation where contacts between teacher and students are minimized. And the next one is that the yes. Yeah. Excuse me.
Students
Okay.
Zero to minimal intervention.
Okay, I'm sorry. I could not read. It bypasses internet connectivity. You see, at present, we are addressing a spectrum of different scenarios, from those having internet connectivity to those who have none. And the dynamic learning program, the way it's created now, really is suitable for each type of situation. And next to that, from the very beginning, the dynamic learning program was designed such that it already incorporates a lot of scientific results, scientific studies, a lot of neuroscientific results, which we could explain during the panel discussion. And the next one, it is individualized. And the last one is that, maybe I just mentioned that the dynamic learning program is really cheap enough that any nation which encounters the present pandemic condition can adapt if they wish to. Now, let me go through the 4 components of the dynamic learning program. And if you are familiar with the dynamic learning program, the first one was the parallel classes scheme, and that has now evolved into the parallel home scheme. The second one are the activity-based learning using the learning activity sheets. And the third one is the comprehensive portfolio. That's where the students put the learning activities. And the fourth one is strategic rest. Now, in the video that you saw, I mentioned that the key to the dynamic learning program is the parallel classes scheme. But in this new normal, the DLP has sort of evolved. I would say that the parallel classes scheme, which is now the parallel homes, is automatic. You don't even have to discuss it. The comprehensive portfolio, that's also automatic, and strategic rest. I would say that in the new normal, the key of the DLP is now in the activity-based learning portfolios. And we will discuss that more about that during the panel, because there are a lot of everybody now saying that they're going to distribute modules. They're going to distribute different materials. But let us remember that for decades, the students have been given all the books that they want for free, especially in the public. For decades, teachers have been lecturing all the time. For decades, the students have been exposed to different types of modules. But what was the result? During the PISA exam, PISA would be the program for international students assessment. During the PISA, we did very, very badly. So now, in the new normal, when we're saying that we're going to simply distribute the materials to the students and hopefully they will read it, I'm afraid that if we stick to the same materials and modules, and especially now that you cannot lecture face-to-face, I'm afraid that it might even become worse. I mean, if we take the PISA again, it might become worse. So that's why I say that in the new normal, the key now in the dynamic learning program is in the learning activity sheets. And we will talk more about that. Now, at the next page, this is just a drawing, a schematic of the parallel learning homes, where the students, the learning activities will be distributed. There are many ways to distribute, either online, offline, bringing the materials to the purok or barangay or whatever. And each material will be good for 1 week, and they will be submitted back to the subject teacher after 1 week. And so, sometimes you say garbage in, garbage out. So now the crucial part in the new normal would really be, what type of materials do you feed the students? Is it going to be the same as the one that you did in the traditional? Especially now that you cannot really lecture face to face. And in the next slide, this is just to emphasize the key to the dynamic learning program in the new normal, that the way the DLP was designed from the very beginning was that we say that the ideal learning activity requires zero teacher intervention, which is just perfect, for this pandemic condition. And next page, before I end, this is my last slide actually. In the old normal, while the students were doing the learning activities, since the classroom is not teacher dominated, you can click the next slide, please. In the old normal, the students were allowed to, there's a lot of peer tutoring. They were allowed to collaborate. And this is actually a 21st century skill, to collaborate, to communicate, because it's not teacher dominated. So in the new normal, this would also occur, this would also happen. And they will be taught subtly this skill, which is very, very important in the 21st century. So I think briefly, that's an overview of how the 4 components of the DLP in the old normal translates into the 4 components of the new normal. As I said, the parallel classes or parallel homes is almost automatic. We don't even have to worry about that. And the portfolio is almost automatic. That's where you file all these things. And the strategic rest, still there should be no homework. There should be nothing beyond the learning activities that will be sent to the students. But the key here really is the type of material. And
the type of materials have been worked on for the past 18 years by all DLP implementing schools, and it cannot, I don't think you can make them overnight. So that's just my message. If you want to add something?
Yeah, I would just like to add. So I would like to reiterate that the DLP smoothly transitions into what we need during this, what they call the new normal, or during these pandemic conditions, which means the 4 features that David was emphasizing would naturally go into the different scenarios that we need for this pandemic. But as Chris has also mentioned, this time, if we really would like our students, our children, to do very well, if we really would like to have very high performance outcomes, now that the other features are automatically for practice because of the pandemic, the key now would be the learning materials. And that is why Chris and I at present are studying, analyzing, carefully considering the different items that appear in the most essential learning competencies as prescribed by the Department of Education. You see, the core problem in education really is the matching between the prescribed curriculum, the implemented curriculum, what the students perceive in the classroom, and then what the students actually learn and are able to operationalize. Now, that's a very challenging problem, not just for the Philippines, but for all countries in the world. So, in our case, studying the most essential learning competencies would play a crucial role. So, at present, for example, let me give a specific example. Many students seem to have difficulty with math and the sciences. Not just children, but even adults. If you take a random sampling, you would be surprised at the number of adults who would say, I don't like math, or I'm afraid of math, or math or physics or chemistry was my worst subject when I was in school. So the reason for that could be traced back to the curriculum from kindergarten, grade 1 to grade 6, grade 7 to grade 10, and now we have grade 11 and grade 12, which form the relay going into the professional careers or work, professional work of our young people. So we are looking at the math curriculum. Are these really the most essential learning competencies? And that is why we are coordinating with SMART and with the Department of Education. We still have time. It's only June. We still have July and the first 2 weeks of August. We would like to zero in on what would be the items, the concepts to be learned by the students based on the prescribed curriculum vis-a-vis what we think would really match global standards in performance outcomes. So I think for now we would rather listen to questions and answer them. Thank you, David.
Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivic, maraming salamat po. No? Just to share with our friends here watching, I think we're now more than 3,000 viewers. Ang DLP o ang CVIF Dynamic Learning Program, I think ay parang isang kotse na talagang pinag-isipan bago mabuo na ang mga parte ay dapat essentials. Kung papalitan mo yan, baka tumakbo ng maayos pero for a very short time lang. That's why the keywords na sinasabi ni Sir Chris at saka ni Ma'am Marivic ay everybody say very. Everybody say very, very. Diba? That's the key word. When we say very well performance, when we say, very effective, it's really very. Hindi pwedeng effective lang, kailangan very effective. Hindi kailangan good lang, kailangan very good. And we are so serious here. We've been, anyways, implementing this for 10 years and the others more than 10 years. We've experienced that, very. So ngayon, maraming salamat po, Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivic. I'd like to invite the first Vice President of Smart Communications, the Public Affairs Group Head, Mr. Monis Berto, and the Assistant Vice President of Smart, si Ma'am Stephanie Orlino, para ho sa ating discussion.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Very, very
Hello.
ready na kami, David.
Thank you, sir. Very, very, very good. Si Sir Mon, isa yan sa mga pinakamababait na boses sa buong mundo. Pati si Ma'am Steph. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Very, very, ano na yun, David. Okay, now, to Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivic, this question always comes up. Mga audience, ako po muna ang magtanong kung, you just ask questions, you post comments on Facebook. This question always comes up. Is DLP a school? Is it a curriculum, a module? Baka we could set the record straight on this po. Sir Chris, Ma'am Marivic.
So, well, first of all, the DLP is not a school. The school here is CVIF. The school we are running is the Central Design Institute Foundation. The DLP stands for Dynamic Learning Program, and this was conceived because of the challenges that we encountered while we were managing the high school in Hagnak, Bohol. So it's a program. You could look at it as a platform, a structural framework, so that learner disposition could be developed. Good learner disposition means that students are able to focus, students have long attention spans for their task at hand, students can absorb material, so that would constitute the learner disposition. So the dynamic learning program, the 4 features that you were emphasizing, David, would be the structure or the framework or the platform that would support the good learner disposition. And then that would be the matrix or the platform. So the next thing would be the content.
Salamat po. Ito naman for Sir Mon and Ma'am Stefano. I know, I think katulad po ng mga siguro bagong nanonood lang ngayon, bagong pakinig sa CVIF-DLP, pareho sila na nalilito rin. Kayo ho ba, ano ho yung pakiramdam ninyo in 2010 way back nung una niyong marinig yung CVIF-DLP? What made you decide to support DLP? Did you have to, do research, understand science and math? Ma'am Steph, Sir Mon?
I'll take, muna ako, Steph. Ako, na-attract ako dahil walang homework eh.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, no? It struck me kasi, when I was growing up, homework is very much part of schooling. So it struck me first as curious, bakit walang homework dito sa sistemang ito? And when I started digging into it, I gradually got to understand, kaya pala walang homework kasi kailangan magpahinga yung utak natin, yung utak ng mga bata. Tapos, ang mga klase sa dynamic learning program, ang tatahimik. Pag pumasok ka sa eskwela na gumagamit ng DLP, ang tahimik ng mga classrooms, parang, where's everybody? Yung pala busy yung mga estudyante, they're doing their learning activity sheets. Tapos, anong tawag nito? They're answering quizzes. In fact, when I learned about that, tinanong ko sina Doc, did you ever bother to count gaano karaming questions ang you're asking students to answer in your learning activity sheets in the course of 1 year? And Doc, what was the answer?
Around 5,000?
Around 5,000 for one school year.
Okay. So, in one school year, a student learns to, answers 5,000. Sabi ko nga, Doc, simple naman pala yung ginawa ninyo eh. Pinapatrabaho nyo ng husto yung bata. but seriously, this is one way of looking at it. What happens to a child who every day in class, in every subject, takes a quiz? Oh, that's one. Number two, nasasagot niya yung quiz. Kasi the questions are broken down into small bits so the student can actually answer the question. So what happens to a child who learns, kaya pala niyang sagutin yung mga tanong? So for me, that's the secret sauce. I think what I find most interesting about this learning approach is that it builds gradually, slowly, over time the self-confidence of the student. Di ba? Once a student gains self-confidence, kaya ko pala to, aba, the sky is the limit. No?
Agree.
So yun ang sa akin ano. Yun ang aking take on this whole thing, no? Sige,
Yes.
ano, Steph, baka gusto mo
Ma'am
dagdagan.
Steph, I know I think mamaya siguro i-discuss pa natin pero how do we operationalize DLP? Parang kailangan ba to may internet o kailangan walang internet o pwede bang mix? Paano po ginagawa ng SMART dito?
Well, the beauty of the dynamic learning program as a strategy is that it can work if you have internet connection and if you have devices. And we do have partner schools that in the new normal, in the coming school year, they're going to be using DLP with technology and connectivity. It can also work even if you have devices but limited connectivity, meaning naka-mobile data ka, for example, and which means that you cannot be connected online for a long period of time. And it can also work even if you don't have any device or any connectivity. And a lot of our partner na DepEd divisions and regions are actually choosing now to go yung print-based or modular, and DLP can work perfectly with that as well. So kahit na anong modality ng delivery of education, this what we call new normal, DLP can work with it as a strategy.
Thank you, Ma'am Steph. So, Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivic, yung sinasabi ni Ma'am Steph kanina ay sumasakto sa panahon natin ngayon, ano? Yung tinatawag na new normal, kung saan bawal talaga yung, as much as possible, yung physical na paglalapit ng mga bata, ng mga teachers. So, can you please expound on that? Paano siya i-implement kung sakali sa eskwelahan or sa bahay? Or paano ho ba yun? Paano siya, sa eskwelahan ninyo, paano siya ipapatakbo?
Well, kung talagang if quarantine is fully imposed, let's say it's a complete lockdown, then the problem boils down to how to give the learning activity sheets from the subject teacher to the students. Now, if there is connectivity, then there's no problem. Now, if there's no connectivity, and the reason why it could bypass the lack of connectivity is that these learning activities there could be drop-off points, like in the barangay or purok, or it could be one way is to group the students according to the barangay, and the teacher who lives in that barangay could be the one bringing the set of learning activities to a drop-off point. And parents could get these learning activities and to be done. Learning activities good for 1 week to be done by the students. And then the reverse is in the same situation. They just backtrack from the students. It goes to the purok. From the purok, the teacher who lives in that barangay, if there's any teacher, would bring this set of activities back to the school for distribution to the subject teachers. So that does not require any connectivity at all. So the DLP caters to all sorts, the whole spectrum from connectivity to no connectivity.
Thank you, Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivic. Meron po tayong mga tanong dito from our viewers sa Facebook pages na sumusuporta sa atin. Ang isa pong tanong dito, using DLP strategy, is it possible to measure the communication skills of students and their performances?
Okay.
Definitely. Surprisingly, in our school, we have won the provincial debate under Girl Scouts for 3 consecutive years. And for several consecutive years, there's a contest, radio broadcasting. We have also successively won in many years for that. Now, the reason for this is this, David. In language learning, there are 2 levels. One is speaking, and the other one is writing. And the more difficult one in the learning is actually the writing. Like, speaking is no problem because if you send a Filipino to Japan in 1 month, he or she could speak Japanese. Send this Filipino to Italy and he or she would be speaking Italian. But then, even if you let English-speaking natives write, then you would notice that that's the more difficult aspect of language learning. And in the DLP, that's being targeted because every period, every subject, there will be copying ideally correctly structured sentences, whether it's mathematics, whether it's physical education, whether it's humanities, they will be copying in English. And so what goes into the mind, that's what comes out. And so definitely communication is addressed, and it is at the more difficult level.
Yeah, David, may I just add? Sometimes we
Sure,
call
ma'am.
the DLP a program of paradoxes because that is one example. The intuitive reaction is you wish to teach communication skills, social interaction skills, then let the students talk or speak all the time. Let them interact verbally, orally. But in the DLP, it is counterintuitive. For them to develop these skills, it is not necessary to talk all the time. Because even as they write and even as they discuss among themselves, having peer discussions on the topics that they have to learn, all these skills are the development of these skills would be built in the DLP. So it's a program of paradoxes. So you wish to have good communication skills, good public speaking skills, good communication skills and social interaction, then do the reverse, but in a formal setting. You want to learn more, or if you want to teach more, teach less. You want to speed up, slow down. So all these things.
Galing, no? So, mga teachers, mga parents, mga nanay, mga bata, narinig nyo ba yun? So, if you wanna go fast, you go slow. If you wanna cover more, you cover less. Because there is mastery. Anyway, yun lang. Galing, no? So, ang galing. So, ganun siya. Paradoxes. Ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng mga natutunan natin, yun na yung tama. So, merong mga pagkakataon na dapat i-unlearn natin yung mga bagay na may siguro hindi nakakapagbigay ng todong potential para sa atin. Ma'am Stephanie Orlino from Smart, may tanong po dito. Si Ivy, where could I get the materials such as the learning activity sheets? Meron na po bang ready na gawa na ito?
Ayan. So with the permission, actually, we cleared this with the Bernidos. Meron po tayong e-learning platform. It's called dlp.ph. So you can just type it, dlp.ph. All the learning activity sheets that have been developed by our partners, content partners, and have been shared with us are made available there. So right now, ang nandoon na ay meron na doon mga thousands of activity sheets for ALS. And then meron na rin po for IP education, meron na rin po for Arabic language and Islamic values education. There are activity sheets developed by the Bernidos and their content partners also for senior high school. And the good news is that, tama ba Mama Rivik, pwede ko na po sabihin, pwede ko po ba i-share na by August, maybe by first week of August, we'll be able to share about maybe 70 to 80% of activity sheets from junior high school all the way to senior high school. So hindi lang po ito first quarter, no, Mama Rivik, tama po ba? For the entire year na po for the different subjects. So that's the good news na dala po ng Dynamic Learning Program because we are cognizant of the fact that ngayon po kailangan po talaga natin ng bayanihan ng tulungan, and this is the time that we really have to hunker down and help each other out. And the Bernidos have always been of that mind that they really want to share yung not only the Dynamic Learning Program, but ito nga, mahirap din kasi dahil we were caught unaware. So yung mga teachers, para hindi na rin po sila kailangan gumawa ng mga activity sheets nila. There are pre-developed that they can use, they can still tweak, they can contextualize. Pero kung gusto rin naman po nilang gumawa ng sarili nilang activity sheets, pwede rin naman, we can also support them because a lot of the partner schools na gumagamit po ng DLP, some of them actually have chosen to develop their own activity sheets.
Ito, merong tanong for Sir Moniz Berto. Ang tanong, di ba po ang Smart at PLDT ay technology company? Paano po iyon na nagsuporta kayo na parang hindi ata ma-technology yung isang learning program? Ano ho ang role ba ng technology dito?
Well, I think, we need to step back. No? Actually, this is high technology. a lot of the insights, or rather, a lot of the techniques that were developed under DLP were based on scientific insights. For example, yung sinabi ko kanina na walang homework. You might think that's just a trivial thing na parang, pinapatuwa mo lang yung mga bata. But no, there's a clear scientific basis for that. And that, if you exhaust a child's brain by loading it with so much work even after school, it has negative effects. And you will have much more beneficial effect if you ration and control properly the amount of work that the brain has to perform during the course of a day. So first, I think that's the first point that has to be made. No? Number two is that, as Steph was explaining earlier, this technique works in a variety of technology settings. Everything from no tech to high tech. Okay? So, and I think that's very important. That's a very important characteristic. And it's important for us to keep that in mind. And thirdly, let me step back again from the point of view of SMART, especially the way we have intervened or tried to assist in the area of education. One of the things that we've learned over the 20 years that we have been active in the field of education, supporting various education initiatives, is that we are not the subject matter experts. Okay? We are not educators. And we have learned in the course of these many years that the best way for us to be effective is to partner with innovators in education, people who have developed new ways and more effective ways of doing this thing, and for us to work behind the scenes on how to enable or to support these innovations. We found that taking that approach is much more effective, much more efficient, than us trying to pretend that we're educators and developing a high-tech education campaign. Do you know that I understand, docs, you may have read of the same report. I think the OECD did a study, a very comprehensive study. It was a global study, and looked into the educational impact of all of the IT investments that many countries have made in education. Lo and behold, what did they find? It had, in many cases, in many countries, the IT investment had minimal or little impact on educational outcomes. What does that mean? You can throw all the high-tech technology at the students, but if you don't combine it with an effective learning strategy, it doesn't work. Machines, software by themselves, no. It has to be paired with a learning strategy, with a pedagogical approach that works. So that's the stance that we're taking, David. We want to learn from the innovators in education and think of what can we do on the technology side that can support that initiative.
Thank you, Sir Mon. I like your point, that you said as an organization or as a company or any company, dapat mag-step back, to isa one step back and then 2 steps forward siguro para makita natin nasan ba talaga tayo, ano bang ginagalawa natin, and how can we, really help deliver development for our community.
I think Marivic wants to say something. No, Marivic wants to say something, David. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, Marivic, please.
Yes, thank you. I would just like to add, because Sir Mon mentioned something very important, this study on introduction of IT or technology into classrooms having minimal impact. There was also a study in 2006 done by the American Research Council, and this time it was the study of the effects or the significance of the laboratory experiments for high school students. And so it was a comprehensive study, because I think this is still being practiced in many, many schools all over the country, because we do follow the US educational system. And the US educational system was based on the Harvard list of standard experiments for high school students. And
Yeah.
so by 2006, there was this comprehensive study and report on whether the effect of such standard experiments in high school had a significant impact or not. And the conclusion was no significant or no conclusive significant effect. And well, the other side of the coin is we were actually happy because at that time our school, and up to now, we lack facilities, but we only worked on our gut feel as physicists, as theoretical physicists, that much of the laboratory work being done in school or being required in schools, much of that is not really necessary to develop a sense of the scientific principles, the sense of scientific thinking that we would really like to develop. Now, I mention this because in these pandemic conditions, many educators, many parents are worried about the laboratory subjects in the curriculum. So for basic education, our thesis really is that we do not need any sophisticated laboratories. The students do not have to do the sophisticated chemistry, biology, or physics experiments that they may have in school. What we would like to develop now, which we actually partially already developed for our Learning Physics as One Nation project back in 2008, the experiments there are so simple that you could find the equipment or what they need, the materials, in their homes. So we don't go beyond that. Now, for college levels, we were also consulted about this because how do you work when you have pandemic conditions at the college and graduate levels, when you have laboratory for specialization courses? So we told our answer to that would be, for every laboratory work, there is actually a pre-lab or a theoretical part before actual hands-on laboratory work. So in the case of specialization courses at the college and graduate school levels, they could temporarily maybe redesign their curricular programs such that the theoretical parts, the pre-lab or simulation lab or demo labs can be done during this academic year and possibly extending up to the second year. And then the hands-on, which might be necessary, could be done once the quarantine conditions or constraints are lifted. But that would be for college and graduate school all the way up to PhD level. How about for basic education? I would just like to repeat and emphasize much of the laboratory work in chemistry, physics, biology, earth science are not necessary to develop good scientific instincts in our children. We only need materials that are available in a typical household. So some of the activities that we will be developing or we have developed for the LAS that were requested by Steph would reflect that. So thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you, Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivig. Meron hong tanong dito from Ana. I think pwede nating i-reiterate yung ating, sabi dito, good afternoon, I would like to ask, paano po mag-implement at mag-prepare ang mga elementary students and teachers for junior high school using DLP?
Pardon me, could you repeat the question, please?
For junior high school, how is DLP to be implemented?
I would say one of the first things they have to do is to contact SMART. Why? Because SMART has these ambassadors, SMART ambassadors. It's a core of teachers coming from DLP implementing schools. Number two, they have these videos which have been accumulated for the past 10 years. So if they want to implement, just watch the videos. First, watch the videos, and then contact SMART. And if it is allowable in terms of quarantine, visit a DLP implementing school.
Only if allowed.
Only if allowed.
But if not allowed, then, as Chris has mentioned, maybe it's not yet as clear because it's quite new. The three features of the DLP, parallel classes, the comprehensive student portfolio, and activity-based learning, that's already, they don't even have to study that because that is automatic in pandemic conditions. They cannot do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The mere fact that the students have to stay at home, that is why Chris called that, instead of parallel classes, parallel homes. And because they will now be at home, then they would need the portfolios. They have their portfolios at home. So they would have that. And then activity-based learning, even the Department of Education has already given instructions when they briefed all the different divisions that they would be applying blended learning, or maybe for those without connectivity, they already have a method for or a protocol for distributing modules or learning activities. So that's already automatic. So the three features of DLP, they don't even have to study anymore. They don't need any simulation. This is already DLP constrained by the pandemic. Now for the no homework, maybe the only transition that they have to do is, in the DLP, in pandemic conditions, the students should not do anything, or are not required to do anything beyond the LAS, the learning activities given to them. If they wish to study more or go beyond, that would be optional. They are free to do so, but they are not required. Assessments will be based only on the LAS. Because students might be afraid, my gosh, it's going to be homeschool. That means I cannot play anymore. I'll be studying the whole time, 24/7. That would be very tempting indeed. But in the DLP, it's always time management, a time for everything.
Okay.
So in effect, as I mentioned also earlier this afternoon, I was saying, the core problem now really is the content, the LAS.
Which you can get from.
Salamat po.
Which you can get
Nabanggit
from
niyo, ma'am. Yeah. Sermon? Wait.
Yeah, David, I think you're touching now, Chris and Marivic are touching on something that I think is central to this whole discussion, the learning activity sheets. I think, Chris, Marivic, I think you need to explain a little bit more what is in that learning activity sheet, because it's not, how do I say this? It's hard for people to understand. That was my experience. How a student can learn systematically just by answering the questions you have in the learning activity sheets, because we are so teacher oriented. If there is no teacher, there can't be really substantial learning. That is the conventional view of most people. That's what the view I grew up with. But you're saying that just by doing these learning activity sheets with minimal teacher intervention, the kids can actually learn. How does that happen?
So,
and if I may, Sir Chris, Sermon, if I may add, yung tanong ni Maan is kind of connected here. Ang sabi niya dito, can you elaborate on how the students will go about the activity sheets at home?
Yeah.
How can we monitor if they are truly doing them? And how about the grading system for the activity sheets? Thank you po for answering.
Well, the grading system is according to the PED. And you see, I think the bottom line, at this stage of the ball game, the question we should ask is, what is the guarantee that the students will be learning at home?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And related to the question is, if you think about it, for the past decades, the traditional type of teaching, there's a lot of lecturing, students are given all the modules, students are given all the books, but then we still did poorly in the PISA. So we should be careful about the material that we are sending to the homes. So what is this material? It's the learning activity sheet. Now, Mr. Esberto was asking, what is this LAS, learning activity sheet? Essentially, it's one concept, one page. You do not go beyond one page. It starts with the activity title, which sets the stage, and then followed by a learning target for that single page, and then followed by a concept digest for the topic, small topic that you would like to introduce, followed by a small example and illustration related to the topic, and then a couple of questions. So everything has to be aligned, from title to target to concept digest to the question. And then for somebody designing the learning activity sheet, if you feel like it is going beyond one page, that's a signal that you should split that activity into 2, 3, or 4. So the idea is that the philosophy is that any complex subject can always be divided into 10 smaller, simpler steps. And if you wish, that single step could further be subdivided into 5 much simpler steps. So it almost becomes trivial in a sense. Maybe the first activity has to deal with definitions of the terms, technical terms to be used in the coming activities. So start with the definitions, the vocabulary, and then next. And then students realize that even without lecturing, without teacher intervention, they are able to understand. And then so their confidence grows, and then they become independent learners.
So a specific example would be, I remember our math teacher before, he would say that it took him more than a week, for example, to discuss to the students the triangle congruence theorems, you know, the side. If 3 sides are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. If the angles, SAS, and so on. Normally, traditionally, teachers would spend a lot of time discussing that. Our claim is, and we have observed this in our school, and I'm sure in the other DLP implementing schools, if you start very gradually, if you define what an angle is, and then you teach, another activity would be how to name an angle. Another activity would be how to measure the opening of the rays of the angle. And then slowly, they see when 2 angles will have the same measure. Then they are congruent angles. And then they close and have a triangle. And then again, they measure size. So it's step by step by step. And then their project actually for congruent triangles would be by the time it's Christmas time, and then you have the parol with the congruent triangles there. And then they draw. And then before you know it, they are able to answer the questions and exercises and problems without teacher intervention. Another favorite example of ours is our series on radioactivity in nuclear physics. Alpha decay, beta decay, gamma decay, daughter nuclides from parent nuclides. We have done this. We have with teachers, science teachers. We have done this with high school students. And with zero intervention, they're able to accomplish or achieve the targets for the series. So maybe for Steph, we should upload a sample series of activities at. In fact, the radioactivity series is already in the DLP website.
DLP.ph.
Yeah, in the DLP.ph uploaded by or constructed by SMART. That series there, tried and tested. They don't need teacher intervention.
Yes, Ma'am
I
Steph,
think
can you
we
please
have a
elaborate
guest.
on that?
We have a guest coming in.
Oh.
Hi, Mr. Mon. I'm very sorry. You know, I just would like to say hi, Mr. Mon, Ms. Steph, Mr. David, and our dear Bernidas couple. Sa lahat po ng mga nakikinig na kasamahan po namin sa DepEd na nandito po ngayon. Ipagpaumanhin po ninyo dahil nagpatawag po ng emergency executive meeting po ang ating Ma'am Diling, kaya hindi ko po kayo nakasama kanina po bukas. Pero narinig ko po yung mga huling diskusyon. Mr. Mon was asking if it's even possible that children may learn by just doing the DLP self-learning modules without much intervention. I would like to say that the answer should be definitely yes, because in fact, the concept of what DLP is advancing is the very concept that we want to try to explain under the self-learning modules, distance learning modality that we have said under our learning continuity plan. Sa katunayan po, yan po ang pinakamahalagang modality, ika nga, na amin pong inaasahan na magsisiguro na magpapatuloy po, katulad po ng sinusulong ng DLP, ang pag-aaral ng mga bata. Dahil po yung iba pa pong distance learning modality, you talk about online, bagamat marami pong mga bata ang may gadget, baka naman po walang access sa internet. At kung may access sa internet o walang access sa internet, lalong-lalo na po kung walang gadget. Kasi kung may gadget naman, maski walang access sa internet, we could upload learning materials in the equipment. At yung panghuli po yung tinatawag po naming radio and TV-based instruction. Paano po kung mga lugar na walang kuryente? Pero naintindihan ko po yung sinasabi ni Mr. Mon at yun po yung hamon sa ating lahat. We may have struggling learners so that alam po natin yon, lalo na po kung meron pa rin pong mangilan-ngilan na medyo nahihirapan pong unawain yung kanilang binabasa, maski nakakabasa po sila, paano kung wala nga mag-intervene? So that should be addressed, that with the combination of our radio-based instruction learning and also we have this system where if the child cannot understand the self-learning module, so in this case, maski po yung DLP, I'm sure yung sinasabi po ng ating pinakamamahal na Bernides Couple, may mekanismo po yan na yung guro pwede pa rin mag-intervene by calling kung wala pong internet. At meron po tayong mga community facilitators, learning facilitators that we may tap on bukod po sa ating mga kaguruan. So pag-uusapan po lahat yan, pag-uusapan po lahat. Pero ang gusto lang po naming sabihin ay sinusuportahan po namin ito pong napakagandang proyekto po na ito ng ating Smart Foundation together with all the, I could see here, Gabay Guro, PLDT Smart, at World Vision, at lahat, pati po ang Save the Children na nakabahagi po nitong programa pong ito, AHA, and there's one more, hindi ko mabasa gaano. Lahat po kayo, pinasasalamatan po namin dahil ito pong dynamic learning program ay talaga pong tumutugon doon nga po sa hamon na magpatuloy po ang pag-aaral ng mga bata maski hindi po sila uobligahin na pumunta ng pisikal sa ating pong mga paaralan. Saktong-sakto po ito. Sana po yung ating pong mga nakikinig ay makita po lahat ito at ating pong i-contextualize subject to our existing rules and regulations on the use of these materials, and we support this dynamic learning program. Salamat po.
Salamat
Thank you.
po.
Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po. So, ngayon puputulin ko po muna ang ating usapan, napaka-enlightening nito. So, I'd like to thank, of course, si Ma'am Stephanie Orlino from SMART, Sir Moniz Berto also from SMART, Dr. Christopher Bernido and Dr. Marivic Bernido from CVIF, and of course, ang ating #1 supporters sa Department of Education, Undersecretary Attorney Tunisito MC Umali Esquire. Maraming salamat po sa oras na binigay niyo sa amin.
Thank you.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
So, thank you for your active participation dyan po sa ating mga nakikinig at mga taga-subaybay sa Facebook page. If you have more questions that we were unable to answer during our panel discussion, please continue posting them on the comment section of this live stream in the Dynamic Learning Program Facebook so we can reply to them. Okay, and thank you very much again to our panelists. Earlier, we heard Ma'am Stephanie Orlino talk about how DLP works in different scenarios or modalities, such as online, with limited connection, and even offline. To further illustrate this, please watch this short video.
Tatalakayin natin sa videong ito ang mga paraan ng paggamit ng CVIF-Dynamic Learning Program o DLP sa tatlong konteksto. Una, kung ang mga guro at mag-aaral ay may device at internet. Ikalawa, kung mayroon silang device ngunit limited lang ang internet. At ikatlo, ay kung walang access sa device at internet. Kung may device at internet connection ang guro at ang estudyante. Step 1. Ipapadala ni teacher ang learning activity sheet kada linggo sa mag-aaral gamit ang email o Facebook Messenger o iba pang online platform gaya ng Google Classroom o Microsoft Teams. Step 2. Kokopyahin ng mag-aaral ang natanggap na learning activity sheet sa isang blank sheet of paper. Uunawain ang lesson for the day at sasagutang mag-isa ang required exercises. Ito ay dapat matapos ng mag-aaral sa loob ng takdang oras na nakalaan para sa subject na iyon. Step 3. Kukunan ng litrato ng mag-aaral ang natapos na learning activity sheet at ipapadala ito pabalik kay teacher gamit ang email o Facebook Messenger o iba pang online platform gaya ng Google Classroom o Microsoft Teams. Ang hard copies ng learning activity sheets na natapos ay dapat i-compile ng mag-aaral sa isang folder kada subject. Step 4. Kapag natanggap na ni teacher ang natapos na learning activity sheet, maaari na siyang mag-online discussion sa mga mag-aaral gamit ang Facebook o Zoom o iba pang online platforms upang i-process ang lesson na natutunan ng mga mag-aaral ng mag-isa. Kung may device pero limited ang internet connection ng mga guro at ng mga estudyante, ang ibig sabihin ng limited internet connection ay gumagamit ng mobile data kaya't di maaari ang full online classes. Step 1. Itatype ng teacher ang learning activity para sa Facebook Messenger at ipapadala ito sa mag-aaral. Sa paraang ito ay hindi mababawasan ang load ng teacher at mag-aaral. Step 2. Kokopyahin ng mag-aaral ang natanggap na learning activity sa isang blank sheet of paper. Uunawain ang lesson for the day at sasagutang mag-isa ang required exercises. Ito ay dapat matapos ng mag-aaral sa loob ng takdang oras na nakalaan para sa subject na iyon. Step 3. Itatype ng mag-aaral ang mga sagot sa exercises sa Facebook Messenger at ipapadala kay teacher. Ang hard copies ng learning activity sheets na natapos ay dapat i-compile ng mag-aaral sa isang folder kada subject. Step 4. Kapag natanggap na ni teacher ang sagot sa mga exercises para sa nakatakdang learning activity, maaari siyang mag-discuss sa mag-aaral gamit pa rin ang Facebook Messenger. Kung walang device at internet connection, Step 1. Ipiprint ng teacher ang mga learning activity sheets para sa isang linggo at ipapadala ang hard copy sa mag-aaral. Ito ay maaaring kunin ng mga magulang sa paaralan o di kaya sa tulong ng barangay ay ide-deliver ito sa kanilang bahay. Step 2. Kokopyahin ng mag-aaral ang natanggap na learning activity sa isang blank sheet of paper. Uunawain ang lesson for the day at sasagutang mag-isa ang required exercises. Ito ay dapat matapos ng mag-aaral sa loob ng takdang oras na nakalaan para sa subject na iyon. Step 3. Iko-compile ng mag-aaral ang mga natapos na learning activity sheets sa isang folder kada subject. Step 4. Sa tulong ng mga magulang o ng barangay, ibabalik sa teacher kada linggo ang mga natapos na learning activity sheets ng mag-aaral at papalitan ito ng mga bagong learning activity sheets para sa susunod na linggo. Kahit walang teacher intervention, may matututunan ang mag-aaral basta't ginagawa niya ang mga learning activities na nakatakda. Ang CVIF-Dynamic Learning Program o DLP ay maaaring gamiting pamamaraan ng pagtuturo kung may device at internet, kung may device pero limited ang internet at kahit walang device o internet. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon sa CVIF Dynamic Learning Program, bisitahin lamang ang dlp.ph na website o hanapin lang ang Dynamic Learning Program sa Facebook o magpadala ng email sa learnsmart@smart.com.ph.
What are the roles of the stakeholders in this ecosystem To represent the school division, we have Dr. Casiana Caberte, OIC Assistant Schools Division Superintendent of DepEd Bohol. Good afternoon, Dr. Caberte, and thank you for joining us today.
To everyone who are watching. You are asking about the role of the stakeholders in.
Ma'am, let me introduce yung kasama po ninyo dito sa ating usapan.
Okay, sir.
To represent the role of the principal and the teacher, we have Mr. Christopher Aklan, principal of Hagna High School in Hagna, Bohol. Magandang hapon po, Mr. Aklan.
May hapon sa tanan.
And we'd also like to again invite, salamat po. We'd also again like to invite and join us in the panel, Dr. Chris Bernido and Dr. Manivic Bernido for additional insights.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, subukan ko muna magtanong para sa ating mga viewers. Para kay Dr. Caberte. To start off, Dr. Caberte, can you share with us how long you've been implementing DLP in Bohol, in the province of Bohol?
Okay, Sir David. The partnership that we had with Dr. Bernidos started way back 2011 to 2012. It was during the, a conference or the education summit that the governor, then Governor Edgar Chato, told us in his speech, because we were presenting to him the problems in education. And during that time in secondary, we really had so many problems about academic, dropout rates, completion rate, and so many other things. And he challenged us that how are we to improve the academic performance of our secondary pupils? And then we have this brainstorming with our ASDS then, Dr. Bungalos, and there was one who said, we are always doing the same thing all over again, and can we expect a different result? And I think it was the same thing that the scientist Einstein had said. So we were doing the same thing and we were expecting different results. So we really welcome this idea of adapting the dynamic learning program, because this is a very different approach, and we were oriented and we were given the orientation by the doctors Chris and Drs. Marivic Bernido. We were really, sold out to the idea that maybe this is one way by which we could improve our secondary achievement level of our learners. So 2011 to 2012, and we were happy because the governor really helped us. In fact, when we implemented the program, it was through the funding of the provincial government of Bohol that the implementation of the program was made possible. First, we were given funding as to the training workshops, capability building, not only for teachers, but for the school heads who will do the monitoring, and for the technical assistance given by our education program supervisors. We were not only oriented, but we were really immersed on how this dynamic learning program will work. And we were so happy that after that, there were a series of workshops in which our teachers were capacitated with the help, of course, by our homegrown scientists, Dr. Bernidos, and they were the ones who really helped us develop this very good quality activity sheets, learner activity sheets. And to think of that, for the last many years that we have been doing the dynamic learning program, there are some schools who really could say, also many schools, that it is not only pupil achievement that were increased in the implementation of the program, but in terms of the discipline, in terms of the mindset of our pupils, in terms of their becoming independent learners, those we say are also some of our gains.
And ma'am, talagang Dr. Caberte, I see na talagang napaka-importante ng leadership ng Department of Education, kasama katuwang yung local government. Tanungin ko lang din po ng mabilis si Mr. Aklan. Ano ho yung mga nakita ninyong benefits ng DLP doon sa inyong paaralan po? Sa mga estudyante, sa mga teachers, maging sa inyo po as a principal?
Actually, ang anak ko mismo, She is now recently enrolled at Xavier University, tsaka taking up agricultural and biosystems engineering. Yung binder niya, grade 11, at saka yung binder niya, grade 12, dinala ko talaga from Bohol to CDO. Anong nangyari? First semester, first year, 13 students taking up ABI, 7 ang nag-fail ng physics. Siya pumasa. Second semester, 5 lang ang pumasa kasama yung anak ko ng differential calculus using the portfolios which binder niya from grade 11 to grade 12. Maganda talaga. Maganda yung epekto. So, ganun lang. When it comes to the help of LGU, ready na po kami ng Hagna District kasi first week of May, nag-usap kami ng aming supervisor, ma'am, i-suggest natin sa LGU na realign natin yung budget ng SEF kasi wala ng sports activities, wala ng curricular at co-curricular activities. So what happened? We presented 900,000 budget just for this one because Hagna High School chooses CVIF Dynamic Learning Program to continue our delivery. So in our case, it is only the parent or guardian with quarantine pass who will get and pass the learning activity sheets weekly. So ganun rin.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. No? Nabanggit ninyo yung dapat meron kayong coordination with the parents. To Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivic, bilang principal and director ng isang private school at para naman po syempre sa Bohol na public schools, mayroon ho bang pagkakaiba yung preparation ninyo para sa darating na pasukan, yung modalities na inyong kukuhanin, or paano ho ba yun? Or halos pareho lang din po, Sir Chris and Ma'am Marivic?
Sa school po namin, sa Central Design Institute Foundation ng CVIF, no, marami po kaming mga estudyante na walang internet connectivity. At maraming mga galing rin sa mga malalayong barangay. Kaya talagang masasabi namin na mas pareho sa public schools yung aming susundin. Kasi normally iniisip natin na kapag private school, kayang-kaya yung online learning or maraming gadgets sa mga bata. Yung aming pong school, kahit na medyo dumadami na nga yung nag-enroll rin na medyo may kaya, pero ang karamihan pa rin po ay kulang sa walang gadgets at saka walang connectivity. Minsan nga po walang signals sa cellphone ng ibang estudyante. So hindi rin magamit ang cellphone ng ano. Kaya ang gagawin namin talagang basic, yung kumbaga low-tech, no-tech. Ibig sabihin, printed activity sheets, LAS, na sa Bisaya, ipapalihog, mamamalihog. Makikiusap po kami sa aming LGU na tulungan rin po kami na pag nag-distribute. At saka mangyayari naman po, may partnership naman po kami kahit sa public schools po sa Hagna. So ang iniisip po namin talagang magtutulungan po kaming lahat kasi kung dapat hindi talaga masyadong mag-iikot ang mga tao eh. So, barangay lang talaga yan. Purok, barangay. So, magko-coordinate rin po kami dyan. More like sa public school po.
Yeah. Thank you po, Sir Chris, Ma'am Marivic. Kay Dr. Caberte, bilang Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, I want you to address the answer to your co-officers in the Department of Education. Paano ba, how do you welcome such an innovation in your division or municipality, and what kind of preparation should be done para ho dito sa darating na August 24 na pasukan po?
Yes, David. Really, it is a challenge kasi with this new normal. But we really are so fortunate in the Department of Education, Bohol, that we implemented the LP. Why? Because we can now use those activities. In fact, we had a dry run. We already gave even if classes had not started yet. We already gave activity sheets to our learners for June and July. And what are these activity sheets? They are the same learning activity sheets developed by CVIF and this dynamic learning program. And what we are doing now is only to look at these activity sheets, review them, then align with the milk that is given by the national office as our new curriculum, the minimum milk essential learning competencies. So we align the activities. So for the teachers, it is easier for them to find these activities to fit onto the specific subject areas. So as they say,
Thank you, ma'am.
make more.
Sir Aklan, we've talked to a lot of school principals implementing DLP, and ang napansin talaga namin, it's really the leaders who will ibababa yung either kamay na bakal o di kaya talagang pagbubuhusan ng effort itong DLP, kasi I know marami siyang challenges na kakaharapin ng mga estudyante at ng mga teachers. At the same time, marami rin naman siyang mga mabubuting madudulot. As a principal, talking to other principals in the public and private schools, paano niyo po sila hihikayatin na, to implement innovative programs in education such as DLP?
So actually, we started with our own district kasi kami magdadala, isa lang ako, but we have around 7 public secondary in Hagna. Then in the Metro Hagna, we have about 4 private schools, secondary. So within Hagna, sabi ko, DLP tayo. With my co-principals, DLP tayo kasi mas maganda, tested at wala tayong problema. Kasi as Ma'am Cass had said, yung activity sheets, ready na. Long time ago. So, ganun lang. So, yung principals in Hagna District are ready to implement DLP. Then, ganun rin. We have to buy 2 duplicating machines which we presented to the LGU, and the budget is already there, and we have no problem. The 900,000 budget is okay with the help of our municipal mayor. So, ganun lang.
Ma'am Marivic, meron po kayong sasabihin?
Dadagdag ko lang bago ka makalimutan po, kasi baka makatulong din ang LGU. Walang problema, syempre po yung mga bata na yung pamilya ay medyo may kaya, yung bibigyan sila ng sarili nilang lamesa, na kung saan sila mag-aaral, may shelves para sa kanilang mga portfolio, ganun. Pero iniisip rin po namin ni Chris, yung mga bata na halimbawa sa bahay nila marami sila, saan sila magsusulat? Baka sabihin nila wala po kaming study desk doon. So ang suggestion lang namin na mag-agreement po, mag-usap-usap yung nasa bahay na yon, na sa ganitong oras yung dining table po ay magamit na kanilang parang study table o conference table po nila. Kasi hindi naman sila oras-oras kakain. So pagkatapos ng almusal, ililinisin na nila yung lamesa, school time na sila. Tapos, matatapos naman po dapat yung activities bago naman magtanghalian ng lunchtime naman. Tapos ganun po, magagamit nila yung kanilang lamesa para may study table naman yung mga bata. At ang pinakiusap lang po namin sa mga magulang o yung mga tita, tito, lolo, lola na nandun na kung maaari po ay habang nag-aaral at nagbabasa at nag-activity yung mga bata, wag naman po sanang utusan ng maglaba o maglinis dito o kung mag-dig, gano'n. Gagawin po nila yan pagkatapos ng school hours. Maganda rin po na may duty yung mga bata. Para sa amin, maganda yan, may household chores sila to develop a sense of responsibility. Pero dun po sa school hours po, kahit po nasa bahay sila, kinakailangan po na huwag istorbohin hanggat maaari po. Pagkatapos, ngayon, maraming mga magulang siguro paggagawa nila ng special shelves, yung portfolio o binder ng mga bata. Paano kung wala nun yung mga at saka kung umuulan, baka bumaha, mabasa yung mga portfolio nila. Ang suggestion po namin, na nakita po namin ito sa Nuestra Señora de la Salet, yung school po na may representative sa forum natin po bukas, si Dr.
Aha.
Marian Dor, ang ginawa po nila sa school nila, yung, although may chef sa school, kung walang pandemic, sa school po ang portfolio, nakanapsak. Bawat bata ay may
Opo.
knapsack po. At lahat ng portfolio nila ay nandun.
Opo.
Kaya po sa mga pamilya na medyo hirap po na may talagang specific shelves yung mga bata, pwede po na may knapsack. Yung school bag po nila, doon na nila ilagay yung kanilang portfolio at siguraduhin lang po na wag nasa sahig at kapag bumaha ay mabasa. Medyo
Yes, ma'am.
secure lang po nila at saka at
Opo,
saka
opo.
hindi po natin maiwasan baka lumikas dahil kung may guluman o dadalhin lang nila yung knapsack nila o school bag, nandun na lahat ng pag-aaralan. Baka
Yes.
naman mga private LGU, mga NGO na makapagbibigay po nitong mga knapsack para naman matuwa po yung mga bata at samahan na nila ng school supplies.
Okay,
Opo.
it's a very good idea, ma'am. Salamat po.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes.
baka naman meron kang at this point, baka meron kang gustong mensahe para doon sa mga kapwa mo principals, even yung mga teachers na rin na trying to communicate with their LGUs, paano nila best way maipe-present yung kanilang mga programa, mga improvements na gustong gawin sa eskwelahan. As your final message po sa kanila.
Gaya ng sinabi ni Ma'am Maribik, base sa survey namin, mahirap talaga mag-online. Una, estudyante namin, majority mahirap, tsaka walang access to internet. So, ang masasabi ko lang, I encourage all principals, school heads, to really adopt CVIF-DLP. Kasi tested na at saka minimal yung input ng teachers at saka hindi nangangailangan ng textbooks. Yun talaga.
Salamat
So,
po, Dr. Caber. Yeah?
It is also cost effective kasi once a week lang pupunta yung parent, magkuha at saka mag-pass ng activity sheets. Yan lang.
Opo. Salamat po. Dr. Caberte, final message for our kapwa ASDS and SDS, a word of encouragement this coming August 24 po.
Okay, for sa amin dito sa Schools Division Office at sa lahat ng mga sabihin nating mga management na nagmamanage ng education, kailangan talaga na ready tayo sa pasukan. And one way of doing that is to assure na yung mga materials, learning materials na kailangan ng mga bata ay nandoon na. Ibig kong sabihin is, sa amin naman kasi sa division office, we have this division learning continuity plan. Sa district naman, mayroon silang district learning continuity plan. At saka sa school naman, mayroon silang school learning continuity plan. So sa plan na yon, magamit yon sa bawat na mga principal pag pupunta sila doon sa LGU o sino mang stakeholder na mag-provide sa kanilang need kasi nakalatag doon sa kanilang learning continuity plan kung ano yung mga pangangailangan. And another thing is, ibig ko lang i-point out na kasi sa secondary nangyari itong dynamic learning program. But for us in the for grades 1 to grade 6 wherein wala talaga kaming maaasahan pang modality kundi magbibigay ng mga activity sheets kahit mahirap sa kinder to grade 3. Salamat talaga na dahil sa na-train yung mga teachers namin paano magawa ng mga simple learning activity sheets na makuha talaga sa isang araw. So sinabi ni Mama Rebecca, chap-chap ng marami.
Yes,
so nakakatulong yan, mas lalo na sa mga graders. So iyon. So yun na lang at magpasalamat din kami sa lahat at least marami kami tulong na nakuha sa provincial government at
yes, ma'am.
by way of printers and lahat-lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Caberte, Mr. Aklan, Sir Chris, and Ma'am Marivic. Thank you. So very quickly, we would like to, salamat po. Very quickly, we would like to show you a video of a teacher from Hagna High School, Miss Jennifer Aklan, who is also a guardian or a parent of a student. Ito po ay pumupunta rin sa Hagna High School para sa point of view ng mga magulang at ng mga estudyante.
Good morning, everyone. Mabuhay! I am Jennifer Aklan, a guardian and a teacher of Israel Aklan. The DLP platform of education is very helpful to our students and to my ward personally, who is also studying at Hagna High School and incoming grade 11 students. Here are the important points that I would like to share on how the DLP platform of education helps us aids in our students' education, especially to my ward. First, my ward will be safer since there will be no more face-to-face encounter in the class. Second, my ward will be truly develop his independence, self-comprehension, and creativity. Third, my ward can help on other household chores since the learning activities at home are flexible and easy. Fourth, there will be no more problems in terms of money matters like transportations, allowances, and etc. Makakatipid talaga kami. Fifth, the values is more reinforced at home by parents since students are always present at home. Remember that we parents are value-wise the best teacher. Sixth, I can sharply focus to my words actions related to any peer pressures that sometimes can affect study. And lastly, the learning is not compromised even without computers or internet connections since dynamic learning program offers learning activities that contains every single information easy and aligned to the learning competencies. Indeed, the dynamic learning program is very useful to my ward and to every student. Hence, this DLP program is tested and proven already even before this pandemic. Thank you and God bless and stay safe.
Maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan, mabuhay! I am Israel Aklan, an incoming grade 11 student of Hagna High School. I hope everyone is fine and staying safe in their respective homes. Since the opening of our school, Hagna High School, in the blessed year of 2012, our school uses the DLP as an educational platform kung saan we are carefully trained to test our self-reliance, resiliency, and honesty, in which each student will copy the concepts of the lesson, then answer the follow-up exercises. Later on, the teacher will explain further the lesson for deepening. In my own personal reflection, the DLP helps me to develop my learning skills independently in a very minimal cost, since all we need to bring to school is just a ball pen and our activity sheets. To be honest, mahirap at nakakapagod magkopya sa mga konsepto sa buong araw. Subalit, the effect of writing helps me to remember the concepts vividly and even customizes my study pattern since it is my own handwriting. No need to use of notebooks to write the important point since all I need to do is just to highlight the important things to ponder in the concept. Everything is found in the learning activity sheets, from concept notes, follow-up exercises, and even vocabularies. One of my significant experiences in DLP is the working of the project, wherein most of the time I need to do it all by myself. DLP will facilitate students to do research that should be made individually or just a maximum of 5 students. Then report it to the class for brainstorming and further discussion, which I think is very engaging to prepare ourselves for collegiate education and for future work. Now that the classes are soon to resume this coming August, nothing to be afraid of because I am confident enough that the delivery of our education will still work as usual. The only thing that changes is that there is no face-to-face classes, meaning I will no longer go to school until vaccine is ready. The process is very simple. My parent will just go to school and get the learning activity sheets. And all I need to do is to accomplish the task at home. Then, my parent will bring back the learning activity sheets for checking. The process will go on. In my own opinion, I am convinced, based from my own experiences, that the dynamic learning program is timely and very relevant during this pandemic period. First, minimal cost. No gadgets and pay of loads are no longer needed. Second, a minimal or even zero intervention of the teacher will still work. Hence, the learning activity sheets are readily made, easy, and step-by-step targeting the learning competencies. Third, face-to-face teachings are not needed anymore. And lastly, for the fourth one, learnings are not compromised because the difficult words are unlocked in the vocabulary sections on the concept notes. I am grateful indeed to our dearest principal, Mr. Christopher Araklan, that the Hagna High School continuously adapting the DLP program even during this pandemic period. To God be all the glory.
Participation sa mga nanonood sa amin sa Facebook. Again, if you have more questions that were not brought up in the discussion, please put it on the comments section of this live event in the Dynamic Learning Program Facebook page so we can answer you. And also, thank you to our panelists, kanina, and good luck on the opening of the classes on the 24th of August. We are almost at the end of our web forum for day one. Now that we know what DLP is, how it works in different scenarios, and the roles of everyone in the ecosystem plays, the next logical step is to get started. Please watch this video for the easy two-step process. Nice, thank you for that. And also again, two. Everybody say two. That's two easy steps lamang. Number one is register. Register in dlp.ph e-learning platform if you want to access the pre-developed learning activity sheets. The good news is, if you're Smart Son or TNT subscribers, access is free. Number two, like the page, the DLP page, and then join the Dynamic Learning Program Facebook group for updates, best practices, to ask for support and to share your strategies. So two steps lamang ha, register, then like and join. And that concludes day one of the No Learner Left Behind Education for All in the New Normal Web Forum. For those who wish to watch the discussion again, you can do so because this is going to be saved in the Dynamic Learning Program Facebook page. Also, like the DLP page and then join the Dynamic Learning Program FB page or FB group to meet other DLP implementers. Visit and register at dlp.ph. You can see the addresses being flashed on screen below. Join us again tomorrow for day two of the 3-day web forum. Till then, keep safe.